Good evening, and thanks for inviting us out again tonight. Tonight I have basically a couple updates on projects that if you've been here the last few meetings, you've heard me talk about and say they're coming. But finally, the signal poles came in for the project at Wilmot, Rita, and Kolb. So I don't know if you've noticed in the last week or so, the fixtures or the poles are up now at Wilmot. So in the next week or two, we expect to have the mast arms up, and we expect to have the signals operational at Wilmot. Then they'll move over to Kolb, and then they'll finish out the north side of Rita. So we're looking at in the next month and a half, maybe 2 months if things don't go smoothly. But poles finally came in. That was the delay on that project. You saw all the earthwork go on many months ago, and then it just kind of sat. That we were waiting on the poles. They are here. So that's the good news there. The next project is at State Route 80, I-10 and State Route 83 and Wentworth Road and Colossal Cave Road. We're expecting to be starting work there on the bridge decks next month. So what you'll be seeing out there is we'll be doing one bridge at a time. So it'll be State Route 83 bridge first, and then the Wentworth Road Colossal Cave Bridge. It'll be reduced to one lane. Yep, I see the reaction. There'll be a signal controlling the traffic on each bridge, again, one at a time, so we're not going to be working on two bridges at the same time. But what they're doing is they're redecking. Again, it's expected to start in early August, beginning with State Route 83. The decks will be done, or they'll be done half at a time, and then they'll move over to Colossal Cave, Wentworth Road. That'll be done half at a time as well. As far as traffic impacts, I mentioned there will be signal controlling the traffic across that bridge, or the bridge that's being worked on. And during certain phases, for example, some overnight work when they have to drop the old bridge deck, or when they're pouring the new bridge deck, it will be shut down. But those will be pre-planned events that occur generally overnight or on a weekend. So the goal is to keep them open, but it's going to be more congested than normal. And that'll be preliminary work starting in early August is what we're looking at. So information will be going out any day now. And we expect real work where you're actually going to be impacted about a month later, give or take. So late August, early September, we expect those signals to be up. The last project that I have on the list today is the Houghton Road traffic interchange. So right now we're still on track to start that project to reconstruct or build a whole new interchange at I-10 and Houghton Road the first half of next year. The nice thing is that because it's a whole new interchange, the existing interchange will remain operational to the greatest extent possible. So at least that connectivity that is there now will remain. There'll be short disruptions, of course, during certain phases, but the goal is to keep it as operational as possible so that we don't lose that Houghton Road corridor connection. It is a diverging diamond. It will be a diverging diamond configuration. I think we've talked about that at previous meetings. And if you'd like to take a look at the tentative layout and that diverging diamond concept, it is available on our ADOT website. If you just go to azdot.gov and then click on projects, you'll see it in the list under the South Central District. So we have the tentative layout so you can see kind of how the traffic will flow, what the lane markings, number of lanes. And you can also, we have a video on there showing how a diverging diamond interchange works and kind of a Q&A about diverging diamonds as well. So that's all available on our website right now for you to take a look at. And just a brief mention, two studies that are ongoing in the immediate Tucson area here. The I-10 State Route 210 study, that's the study looking at expanding I-10 from roughly I-19 over to Kolb, and then also connecting I-10 with State Route 210 in the Alvernon area. They're working on the draft. It's called Design Concept Report and Environmental Assessment, but draft documents, and we expect to have a public hearing. We're tentatively looking at October, late October for that. And the other study that's ongoing in this immediate area is the Sonoran Corridor. they are currently reviewing everything that was we are reviewing everything that was given to us at the last meeting. And I'm told we're expecting a public hearing sometime in the first half of next year related to the Sonoran Corridor. And the Sonoran Corridor is the proposed roadway that would connect I-19 to I-10, kind of in the general Sahuarita area to this general area, Rita Houghton area. So those are the updates I have from the ADOT front. So that's what I have.
Well, I'm not going to beat the dead horse of Sahuarita Road, but it's still a huge problem. Tons of truck traffic cutting through from Route 83 off of I-10 over to I-19, and it will just get worse. I do have a very specific question, though, because I use Wilmot, because of where I live, and when I'm going into Tucson, it's a faster way to go. My husband works at Raytheon. He also uses it. He actually goes under I-10 and cuts somehow around the dump and does a back road into the airport facility. Why, in heaven's name, did the traffic engineers not put a left lane in the eastbound off-ramp? When you come off of Wilmot, there's a backup every rush hour, and I try not to get caught in rush hour traffic, of people coming off I-10 to get on Wilmot and to go on Wilmot North, because they're doing a backwards cut over to that development that's off of Kolb. And instead of a real left lane, there's an angle that's painted yellow with stripes on it that are horizontal. And people come off there, and people who, come from the East Coast that know to ignore stuff like that and just get over to the left and make a left turn, they're fine. But people come off there, they don't know what the hell to do. They're thinking there's a yellow line. I can't drive on it. I need to stay on the other side. So then they back up everybody who's making a right-hand turn off Wilmot to go south to Sahuarita. Why did they do that? It just makes no sense. And I'm hoping when you do these other interchanges that some traffic engineer looks at the pattern of traffic of people getting on and off of these ramps to I-10 and determines where it makes sense to make left turn lanes.
The short answer to your question is I don't know offhand why certain lanes were put in there. But what I would ask you, at Wilmot, you said, right? At Wilmot, when the signals are in and operational, let me know if that doesn't make a difference, and I will raise it. If the signals, when they're in and operational, if that addresses or mitigates some of what your concerns are, that's great. And if it doesn't, reach out to me and I will do some research into that for you. Is that fair? Let us get the let us get the signals in and see how they operate, and then but I'll ask though. I appreciate the question. Thank you.
Jeremiah, there was mention in regards to expanding I-10 all the way to Kolb. Why was Kolb selected?
When they do a study like that, so it's the I-10 State Route 210 study, they're, as I understand it, we're only allowed to study at the stage that this project or this study is in, the level of detail. We're only able to study to a point that we can do in a predictable time forward. So, for example, what can be done in 20 years?
I would say that'd be shortchanging, because with the growth occurring in the southeast sector, you should expand that to Houghton.
And I don't think anyone would disagree with that, but it's what we have for predictable funding to what we think we can do in that period of time. It relates to how much we think we can realistically do with the funding that we have.
Is there any future forecast?
Apparently, the Kolb is the
Cutoff?
Yeah.
If there is an expansion, would it be considered?
I think that there's clearly, we all see where the community is growing.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a logical, if there were further studies, that would be a logical direction to go.